Hello everybody, welcome to the ZLGNF channel. My name is Ze, and today we have a very special video because I messed up and I just recorded the whole reaction video without having my microphone on. Now the good news is that honestly I don't think my reaction is going to be that much interesting. I read the manga, I know what's going on, and this is an episode where it's about like licking our wounds and like just moving the plot forward. You know, the enemies disappeared and all that stuff, and there's actually no noon scenes. In fact, there's a bunch of cut scenes. This is an episode that I was honestly not really that excited for a bunch of different reasons. I guess I got lucky there. So instead of having a reaction video, I guess it's gonna be a pseudo review or whatever. I don't have a script. I usually would like to have something ready, so I'm just gonna talk off the top of my head the things that happened and what I have to say about them. So why was I not really that excited about this chapter? Well, the chapters that this episode covers, they're not bad, but they are like planting seeds and stuff for like the beginning of the end, I guess. I like, so far I was really happy with this adaptation, and even the manga I was really happy. You know, this adaptation just elevated material that I thought was already good and made it even better, right? Even stuff that they changed, like Sasakibe, there was a scene with Byakuya talking about how he was so cool, he got the Bankai early and was really respected and all this shit, and you're like, bruh, he got one-shotted by Ichigo in the Soul Society arc. What are you talking about? Get the fuck out of here. This guy is cool? No, Kubo, I'm not eating that shit up. What this anime does that's actually really smart is the fact that they remove that scene and instead show you how he's kind of cool. They can't, you know, pretend that the Ichigo scene didn't happen. What we do is instead, number one, have a more extended scene of him using the Bankai against Yamamoto. And you have the whole scar thing, right? That was cool. But more interestingly is you have him stabbing Yuha, right? That was fucking awesome. Everything about that is not in the manga. At the end of the day, you have all those 13 new captains or whatever doing cool shit, but he was the one that was actually in there hurting Yuha. And maybe he could explain why Yuha wants to like attack him. Not just because he wants to hurt Yamamoto personally, but also because maybe he actually has a little bit of a vendetta against him, you know? Maybe, you know. That, you know, like before the anime, I didn't know that could be a thing, and now this could be a thing, maybe. It helps him like gaining some respect. But that's the changes that they made there. In this episode, we don't have changes. In terms of changes we have, but they're on the negative. They removed a lot of scenes. A lot of scenes were cut. Are they important? Not really. Do they matter? Not really. Were they funny? Yes. Most of them are just comedy scenes, and they do add like one panel, well, panels in the manga, but like a little screen that helps clarify some of that stuff. So let's just go beat by beat. So beginning of this episode, we start, and it's just Ichigo's on a hospital. Hanataro shows up, which is like awesome. You know, like I like this character. I'm glad they kept that in, because if they were in the mood for cutting a lot of stuff, this could have been cut, and it wasn't. After that, we have a scene with Ichigo talking with Rukia about a lot of things. It's funny because like you have Rukia and Shinji just insulting Ichigo back and forth, but it's not funny because Ichigo immediately leaves because he's being called to talk to Mayuri, and Rukia points out how she's noticing how Ichigo is like kind of sad and just not showing that, and not because of the Bankai, not because of this, not because of that, but because of what Yuha said about his mom. You know, he said, your mama fat. No, he was doing your mama jokes. Whatever. Like, something about his mom, right? About being Quincy, probably. You know, just saying, bro, Ichigo's a Quincy. I keep forgetting that I should be shocked about that. Oh, you know, fake reactions coming up. I read the manga, okay? I can't be too surprised about that. And because I read the manga, I'm gonna talk about the next thing. And this is like the big first, like, major that this arc did. And there was like a 5% chance they were gonna change that in the anime. I never really trusted that. I never really believed in that, but it could have. And they didn't. And that is Byakuya Kuchiki is alive. He's not dead just yet. They're not gonna kill him, and by the end of this episode, they make sure to tell you, my friend, that this guy is not dead. Now, I want to remind you, in the last episode, they fucking made sure to fucking really kill him. Oh my god, Ichigo, please, go save us, save us. It's such a great scene, okay? I'm memeing that up, but that is actually a great scene, because if you know him, you know Byakuya, you know what he represents, what he is, what he believes in, how noble he is, how prideful he is, to get him in that state, both physically, how completely demolished he was, and how emotional he is on that state where he's just crying. He's literally crying. I don't think he was crying in the manga, and if he was, it was not as noticeable. So him asking Ichigo for help is like a big thing. That's a big thing for his character, right? And I think the anime even did more to really exaggerate how Byakuya is dying, he's crying, his Zanpakuto is destroyed to pieces. You know, what is this? It reminds me of fucking Beyblade, bro. Does anyone remember Beyblade? Fucking Kai, his Beyblade was destroyed, and then it just has it back. It's like, what the fuck? I thought that was a big deal that thing's being destroyed, and that's what happened there. And they have the gall to, no man, he's still alive, haha. Like, what are you talking about? I saw him dying really for real this time. He had like 2 speeches. No, he's not that. And I know everybody has the same opinion as I do. This is a basic bitch opinion, but it is an opinion that I have, and this is my channel. I have to say it, okay? At the time, I think Kubo got a lot of death threats, honestly, because of he was doing this. And you have to remind yourself that these episodes are multiple chapters, right? And to a lot of people, Byakuya was actually dead for a long time before we got the notice of that guy saying, yo, no, he's still alive. Oh, and we're gonna take him here. And I think he got a lot of death threats for that. So maybe people think that he changed his mind because of that. I'm not really sure. That's not my point. My point is, as someone that reads the story and sees what Ichigo, Renji, and Rukia do, how strong they're gonna get, and Byakuya coming back, there's nothing to be gained with this guy being alive. In fact, it's hurting the story a little bit. It's just not as emotional. There's gonna be moments where it's like, oh, he's just literally right there. If you were going to kill Byakuya, I can't think of a better fitting, tragic scene than this. He's alive now to be part of like really shitty fights. Like, there's a battle that he is on, and it's like, man, look at how much what I'm seeing right now doesn't matter. It's not even that interesting. And it doesn't matter because Kubo, you know, whatever. Let's not go into detail. There's a lot of episodes before we get into that. Kubo definitely wanted to keep him alive, and the anime respected that. We're not going to change that. I didn't think that was going to happen. I was hinting at, oh, Byakuya's there, haha, making jokes throughout my whole reactions because this was going to happen. So here we are. He's not dead, and it sucks. It sucks. It's gonna suck a lot more in the future. Now, second bullshit thing is the next scene, where we have Ichigo and Mayuri talking about Bankais. How Ichigo broke his Bankai, and breaking a Bankai is apparently a big deal. Now, I don't remember if they cut this in the anime. I think they did, where Ichigo is not an idiot, and he actually starts questioning a lot of the bullshit that Mayuri is saying, which is like, okay, you're telling me that breaking a Bankai is bad because you can't fix it, but what about your Bankai? Mayuri's like, I'm not really fixing my Bankai. I'm just doing a lot of sciencey bullshit to make it, you know, my way. Whatever. His answer is not really satisfying. But yeah, apparently your Bankai being broken is never going to be as strong as it was before. You have to assume that's what's happening with Mayuri, even though I don't think that's the case at all. It doesn't seem like it. But to be fair, he has weird abilities. But in terms of like raw power, someone like Ikaku, his Bankai was broken back in the Ranka arc. And apparently to this day, that guy has a weaker Bankai now. And as far as I know, when the story ends, he's never gonna fix that. He's gonna forever have a weaker Bankai. Then you have characters like Komamura, whose Bankai is kind of like a JoJo stand, where he's like controlling this fucking giant thing. And Mayuri is like, that's actually a different Bankai because that's so intrinsically linked with Komamura. When that guy gets hurt, the Bankai gets hurt and vice versa. So what happens is that, like, if he heals up, the Bankai heals up, so it's actually fine. What about Renji? Byakuya permanently broke a lot of the little things that Renji had. This Bankai was, like, connected by all these, like, weird skeleton structures or whatever. Renji's Bankai has been hurt this whole time and has not been at full strength. Now, listen. I just think everything about this is, like, pointless. I'm not a fan of, like, this whole new concept of Bankais being broken. I think it's just so strange. It comes out of nowhere. I think it's breaking our knowledge about things in the past, and it's not really like justifying anything really. Like Renji had his Bankai broken. Like, how much is that gonna matter? It's just pointless because later on we have another guy just come in and be like, "Yo, Renji, actually your Bankai is not even called blah blah blah. It's called blah blah blah." It's like, what? I don't know. Like, I don't like this. I think it's dumb. Now, let's go into the stuff that was cut. So in the same scene where you have Ichigo and Mayuri talking, you have another someone showing up, and that is Kon. Now, what the anime did is that you have him in the background just running away, which also makes me think about, why is Kon there? Like, what's going on? Like, that was something that's like a little strange, right? I don't think he was in the Fullbringer arc. So he stayed in the Soul Society this whole time after the fight with Aizen? Maybe? So Kon shows up there. In the manga, it's a little bit more. Like, you have, well, what's that noise? What's going on? And then boom, supposedly Kon is looking like this now. You have this whole scene with him. Now, love him or not, Kon is a fucking character that's been with us for a long time, and I think it's a shame that we're out here cutting scenes because he doesn't get scenes, bro. By the way, Kon, king of New York, and New York is just a one word, I guess. But yeah, after that, we have the whole scene where we actually finally meet the Squad Zero, which is something that's been like, I don't know, like hyped up for a little while. I think we heard about them in the Turn Back the Pendulum. I think it was the first time because we have one of the captains leaving. I think it was the same captain that was in the squad that Urahara took over, I think, right? She left for Squad Zero, and Hiyori was the lieutenant, and she actually really liked that captain. That captain is the fat lady with the big tits. That's that captain. And she also knows Shinji, and there has a little funny comedy bit there. Then we have the scene with Unohana and that guy, and I already forgot that guy's name. I don't like that guy. That's honestly one of my least favorite ones of the Squad Zero. But yeah, I want you to pay attention to, it's 5 of them, right? But like only 4 talk? Like one guy didn't. And that guy's actually going to be important. I don't know why Kubo just didn't have a little scene with him. I thought that was interesting, like going back to this, rewatching it. Like, yeah, he didn't say anything. He did a little dance, but everyone was being a little stupid when in their first like scene. But yes, that guy, that's Anessa, with, you know, the guy with the hair is like taunting Unohana, is basically telling her, oh, if we don't take these guys with us, they're going to literally die, so fuck you. Get the fuck out. You should be doing something else instead of healing. He actually calls her Retsu in that scene, which I think is interesting. Soifon is like actually kind of the start of this episode. He has a lot of scenes where she's complaining about shit and people just telling you to shut the fuck up. I'm not a Soifon hater. I actually kind of like her. I know she's a bitch and maybe she deserves some of that. But, you know, the ZLGNF channel is not a channel that's here to hate on Soifon. I actually kind of like her. Now, I actually do think it's interesting that she does like exist to point out shit. Like, if you exist and you're so powerful, more powerful than all the fucking captains, why are we not helping us? And then just like, because that's not her fucking job. We exist to protect the Soul King, so get the fuck out. You can't even protect your job. Now that's gonna be funny because later on we're gonna see how well they can't do their job. You know, maybe they can, maybe they can't. Some of their bills that are gonna be impressive though. I'm not gonna shit on them, but you know, some of these guys that talk a lot of shit for, you know, well, read the manga, I guess. Also, I forgot to talk about a very important scene though with the Urahara and Orihime. They're talking through Kon because apparently Mayuri and Urahara was doing experiments with him separately, and Kon can now transmit this whole huge screen, and we have a little something show up. If it'll recognize your voice actors, I'm just gonna say it honestly, like, because you can fucking Google this. That is Grimmjow. That's Grimmjow, because Grimmjow was not dead. He didn't die. Ichigo didn't kill him. They ended their fight. The next spot immediately showed up, because that's how Kubo likes to do his stuff. They immediately have fight. The plot barely moves forward. So episodes like this are rare in that sense, and I actually do enjoy that. Again, like, I actually enjoy when the plot moves forward, you know, and this arc would benefit for a lot more of that. So like, Grimmjow listens to them talking about Kurosaki. It's like, oh, is he there? I don't think he knows that they're just using a fucking, you know, Discord call or whatever. What I'm more interested in is this shit here. What the fuck is Chad and Horihime doing? Like, in the manga, it was like very unclear. I don't know what they were doing. Eventually, by the end, they're just they have like tape on these fucking things, and somehow Grimmjow doesn't break through them. I don't know, but like in here, they're just playing music. Is this something? Is this an aspect of Grimmjow's character that I don't know? That he doesn't like this music? Like, I don't know what's happening. It's just bizarre. This is really strange, and it's funny. And I'm glad they didn't cut that. You know, they could have not animated that, and I'm glad that they did. You know, because this episode again is about how we lost a lot of shit, and I'm glad we have what we have. Man, that sucks. So I want to talk about another scene that was cut, and this is a little unfortunate, but where they cut some stuff, they added some stuff here. Well, basically, it was the scene that we had later on, where after using their giant pillar, I don't know the name. I keep forgetting it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't fucking care. I'm not even gonna read the thing. They go back to Shiba Ikaku, you know, Kukaku. Sorry, but if you remember these guys, they were back in Soul Society. We had this lady. She doesn't have an arm in the anime. I think she had a little something. And she had a brother. The anime just immediately in the shot, oh, look at this stupid shit, and immediately we're done with the scene. None of these pages that I'm in right now are in the manga, right? Like, we don't have this conversation with them. She's yelling at them. Ichigo's yelling at them. Like, everybody's just yelling. A lot of funny jokes, a lot of funny interactions, and it's a shame because immediately later on they show a little something, right? Actually, let me just see here, this panel. We have to let them do this, even if our uncle ends up shedding tears as a result. I don't remember the exact translation. Actually, have to pull up eventually. But this is referring to Ichigo's dad, because he's also part of the Shiba clan. These guys are family, cousins, I guess. But yes, it's actually a shame they cut this shit severely short. Again, just like Kon, I think these guys even have even less scenes, honestly. And we get nothing with her. It's a shame, because I actually really like her. And we lose that. We do lose that immediately. But what we gain is also pretty dope. Okay, so the translation here is a little different. Is even if it means making uncle sad. So they knew that Ichigo was related to him. I forgot that was a thing, right? Like, I forgot that she talked about this, but yes, like apparently she knew. I don't know when. Maybe she knew that all the time. Maybe they had the conversation with Yoruichi later on. I'm not sure, but yes, there we go. This is a new shot that is here to help you understand, because some of this lore is actually just kind of complicated and barely existing in some aspects. But yes, like Ichigo's dad is a noble and is part of this family. These guys were noble, you know, even if they don't look like it, but they are. Now, another thing that's cool is they added a couple extra shots about the guys, well, that she's talking about in the scene, which is the Soulbringers, right? Sorry, the Fullbringers, what the fuck? So these guys, you know, are alive, you know, they died, but are in Soul Society as souls, and they are with Ganju, right? You can cry, you're gonna be the next battle. Dude, I barely remember how relevant they are. I remember Tsukishima doing stuff, right? I remember Tsukishima actually being his ability being relevant for a little something, a little trickery, I guess. Not to go into detail on that, but I thought that was cool. But yes, like, don't get too hyped. Well, is anybody hyped? I think most people hate the Fullbringers. I like the Fullbring arc personally. I think it's interesting. I think it's very different. It's not bloated. The Quincy arc and the Aranka arc, by the end, I'm just kind of exhausted, and that arc kept it short, kept it simple, and that's something I actually really appreciate, you know. But that's my opinion, and if you don't agree with that, you know, like, you can kiss my ass, honestly. But yes, back to the present, I guess. We talked to Shiba fam, and we immediately get sent into the Soul Palace. I thought the episode was gonna end here, and it didn't, because we cut a lot of stuff. So we actually have a little bit more content for the next chapter. And again, we once again cut some stuff here. I want to talk about how we lost again another very interesting fucking little piece of info. I was talking about a piece of info, and immediately what I'm seeing is just a piece of ass instead. And yes, this is Rukia's ass. There's like a whole section about how he's like just pulling like Renji like a fucking turnip. It's like, what the fuck is that? It's like, oh, we're gonna talk about peaches now, haha. Funny. That's actually pretty funny, actually. But yes, like because Renji and Rukia are all there, you know, not just Byakuya. Byakuya is the one that needs to be there the most, because he's literally dying. That's cool and all, but what is most interesting is the fact that this hot spring that this guy has is not just any kind of hot spring. We've seen something similar in the past, and he points that out. You know Urahara, right? Like, yeah. You were in a place like this similar with Yoruichi, right? And we saw her naked, all that stuff. Classic Bleach, you know, Soul Society, all that stuff. If she had something like this, right? Ichigo was here. I think he was trained as Bankai in the exact same place. So Urahara was apparently here and tried to recreate this place. I was shocked that they decided to delete that. So the last scene of the episode is like how we see the Soul King. One thing that I thought was really interesting is that how, again, remember how they talk about how this Squad Zero is like 5 captains or whatever? It's just 5 guys. I don't know who this guy is, but this guy's talking to Soul King in the manga. They changed that. Instead of that, it's the bald guy. I think his name is Ichibe. I'm pretty sure. But yeah. And by the way, the shot with him is actually a little different. And that's, I guess it's different for a reason. I actually do appreciate this change. You only see him, you don't see him like this, you know. This is a shape, and you see his face, and you know, well, the less I say about this, the better. But yeah, that's where the episode ends, and then you have a little poem with Kenpachi. So overall, what are my thoughts in this episode? Disappointing. It's not the worst episode ever, but you know, like, I think for the most part, the anime staff has done a really great job, again, with the Sasakibi scenes, the new Uryu scenes, the new Yuha scenes, the way they just did some of the battles, right? The last 2 episodes, animation wise, they've been absolutely amazing. So to go to this one, and again, I get it's not as exciting. I get that. My problem is not that. My problem is the amount of scenes that were cut. A lot of these characters, they really don't get a whole lot of shine. You know, this is the last time I think we're gonna see some of these guys. So when you even go and you cut those, it's so sad. It's so sad. I get it. I understand that we don't have infinite number of episodes. We have I think we have 52 episodes in 4 cores, right? 4 parts. So we don't have time, and we have to like really make sure we tell our story the best way it can be told. I get that. I understand that. But as a fan, it is a shame that we're losing some of the stuff. Of all of episodes that I would fuck up a recording, I guess it's gonna be something like this. Wasn't really much of a fan, and in terms of reaction, I didn't have much to say. I just was like, oh, they cut this constantly. Hopefully the next one doesn't have a lot of cuts. What was cut here, I think is gonna be cut forever, right? Like, I don't think they can readapt some of this stuff later on. But I'm basically at this point, I'm a broken record, so I'm just gonna finish the video here. So guys, if you enjoyed this episode, tell me why. If you agree with me that you're a little disappointed with some of the stuff that was cut, tell me in the comments. And yes, you know, the first time ever, I'm not here just yelling and, oh my god, wow, so cool. I actually have more things to say, which is actually kind of nice for once. But yes, that's it for me. I hope you like this video. I hope you're not too mean to me, because if you're mean, I'm gonna cry. And if you like this video, actually click on the like button and maybe subscribe. Okay, just saying. And I'll see you guys later. Hopefully I don't fuck up Chainsaw Man, because that would be bad. I can't do a fucking review, bro. Not for that. That would be a shame, right? But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.